This is a, yeah, vegetable. I don't know about that. Not necessarily.
Smile big, Dad.
My best friend.
Thank you, sir.
Good crowd? Yeah. Did you? People won't know what Democrat women do. See what we did. See what we did, Lida.
That's very nice.
She is gorgeous. Is she a pretty girl? She was.
My $5 million now. That's not very much. I think it's pretty good. Worthy, right?
Yeah, we had beautiful female wings.
Yeah. And you know, the argument is always.
It's kind of racist from there. His father.
I said I may have a zoning case, so I'm gonna try to help.
Sir, you, Audrey, Judy Campbell. Thanks for coming.
John Barton.
What do you
It's
think,
his
John?
house.
I'm just getting warmed up. They sang, and when they said they were through, they left.
Coming and we said, no, we think we'd kind of like to hang around here for a while, maybe go over to the coffee shop, just stay a little after hours. Oh, my God, it makes me laugh.
I'm happy. Well.
Germs.
My wife's been out killing Japanese. Baby's on. Baby's on. Lay around the shack till the milk brings back. Rolling my sweet baby's on. Well, where were you last Saturday night? While I was locked in jail, you were walking the street with another man. Wouldn't even know my baby till I rolled in my sweet baby's arms. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna lay around the shack till the milk train comes back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Well, I ain't gonna work on no railroad. Ain't gonna work on no farm. Gonna lay around the shack till the milk train comes back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Yes, I'm rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm rolling in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna lay around the shack till the milk train comes back. Rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Lay around the shack till the milk train comes back. Rolling in my sweet baby, rolling in my sweet baby, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Doing good, Dave.
It's called marketing. What are you doing, Connor? It's going off that finger.
Democratic?
No.
I've done it since I got left in
Not even the biggest one.
Pretty good. Running for the Senate.
I know you are. Terry Pelosi sent me a nice little letter, and I thought, oh, I had it.
And if I should ever hear that he's made it, I'll be there every teardrop. But if he ever
Thanks for coming to the Franklin County Democrat Women's Club picnic. And thanks to our hostess, Teresa Barton, and John Barton, who's a merit employee. We want to thank him anyway because he lives here. Now, he's not the sponsor of this event. Thank you. Thanks, Sherry Sebastian, our president. Sherry's over there dishing up homemade ice cream. And Sherry's husband and helpmate, Michael Moore, who's still working, and we hope we'll save some ice cream for him. In case you weren't at the last meeting, Sherry was the winner of the Golden Rule Award for the 1999 Volunteer for Franklin County, and because she was representing our club, she won $1,000 for our club treasury, and we really owe Sherry a round of applause for being Volunteer of the Year. This afternoon, it's my privilege to introduce to you the newest justice on the Supreme Court, James Keller, who was appointed by Governor Patton and sworn in June the 1st. He's a graduate of Eastern Kentucky University and got his Juris Doctorate at the University of Kentucky. He was in private practice, a master commissioner in Fayette County, circuit trial judge from 1976 to 1999. 23 years at the circuit bench, the same as me at the Court of Appeals. He was born in Harlan, and I wanted to tell you a few little Eastern Kentucky stories so he'll feel right at home. There was an old man who went to the dime store every day, just looking and loafing. And he had to look a long time because his eyesight was so poor. But finally, he just walked around and looked at the stuff, and he went up to the counter, and he ordered a dime's worth of them little cookies. Of course, they were powder puffs. Alma Waddell's dad was with the old Kentucky State Patrol back in 1948. He was transporting a prisoner from Knott County to Lexington. That guy had never been out of Eastern Kentucky, probably had never been out of Knott County. And when they got down the Mountain Parkway and onto Stanton, where the land begins to spread out, he looked up and said, "Good God, what a bottom." One old guy who had never been out of Harlan County finally got a trip to Frankfort. I guess he's probably riding down with a friend who was filing for office. He had no idea how far it was or where he was going, but he knew he was getting close when he had the urge to steal. One old farmer from Harlan County had 17 or 18 kids, and he took them to the state fair. He really wanted them to go in and see this $100,000 prize bull. However, it cost 50 cents per kid, and with that many kids, he just didn't have the money to take them all in, so he really wasn't going to be able to. But finally, the bull's owner came out and said, "Bring your family on in. I want the bull to see the kids." So from Harlan County in Eastern Kentucky to law school in the Bluegrass, Judge Keller came down and saw the big bottom and stayed. The court's newest member of the Supreme Court, Judge Keller. I wasn't too hard on you.
Okay, I ain't trying to follow you. Huh? She good. Yeah.
Well, she's hard to follow, isn't she? Yeah. The kind of reminds me of what Happy Chandler said one time, and he received a real glowing introduction from someone, and
Raise the mic.
There you go.
can you hear me now? Okay. Governor Chandler was introduced one time by someone that just complimented him, just as Judy complimented me part ways, and he said, "I hate to admit that what she said is true, but said I'm too modest to say that everything she said about me is true, but said I'm too honest to deny it." And so I am from Harlan County, and I'm proud of that. We have other people here from Eastern Kentucky, but I wanted to make some comments to you, and they told me to make them special. And I was trying to think what I could say to you now that Judy's taken all my speech. That would be special. And we have a bailiff over in the circuit court in Fayette County who's been married 20 times. And it's true. It's not an exaggeration. And I kind of feel like Sonny. I know what to do. I just don't know how to make it real special. And we had a ceremony the other night at the Kentucky Bar Association, and Janet Stumbo, who's a member of the Supreme Court, received an award for her services that she had rendered, and it was a real nice affair. And they referred to her as a coal miner's daughter, and which is true. Her father was a coal miner. My grandfather worked 42 years in the coal mines. My father worked in coal mines part of his life. And so I come from that background, and I went to Eastern Kentucky University. I stayed there for 3 years, and at that time you could go on to UK or to law school if you had a certain average and you made certain score, you were able to go on to law school. So then I transferred to UK and completed my studies at UK. Like so many people from Eastern Kentucky, once we got here, we refused to leave, and I've stayed in Lexington. I practiced law in Lexington for 10 years. During that time, I was also commissioner of the circuit court, which was a part-time job, and then I was appointed as judge of the Fayette Circuit Court. I presided as a trial judge for over 22 years, almost 23 years, on the circuit bench. During that time, I called up the court administrator the other day and I said, "How many cases did I handle during that period of time?" And I'm not talking about actually tried, but handled, disposed of. It was over 20,000 cases. I said, "How many felony cases?" It's like over 4,000 major felony cases that went through my division at that time. Then former Chief Justice Stevens retired from the Supreme Court. He'd been there for several years and been Chief Justice longer than anyone else in the history. And the appointment, his office came vacant, and they had a commission for people to apply to if he was interested in that position. And I applied along with several other people, and with Judge Anthony Wilhoit, who is a very distinguished person in my opinion, and another attorney from Lexington who was a practicing trial attorney. I was one of the 3 nominees that came out of that committee. And then Governor Patton appointed me on May the 7th to the Supreme Court. And I've served there since May the 7th as a justice of the Supreme Court. It was interesting because when I went in, they did not have court week that they traditionally have in May, and so we had court week in June. And I asked the court administrator, I said, "How many cases did we handle during that period of time?" And so I've already been exposed to over 160 cases at the Supreme Court. And it's completely different than as a trial judge. And I think, I was talking to someone here at the table, and I think it probably best describes it. It's like going back to law school, because instead of dealing with factual matters, you're dealing with legal matters. And so it's been real interesting. The Supreme Court, and when I've been talking to people in Franklin County, I found out one thing real quick. You're very astute about your courts, about your General Assembly, and you understand about these things more so than people in other counties that I'm running in. But one of the things that the Supreme Court does is hear all cases where someone's sentenced to 20 years or more imprisonment. So if they get 20 years or life or death, then that case will automatically go to the Supreme Court of Kentucky if it's appealed. We also hear by discretionary review, which means it's up to us where we decide to hear it or not, cases that are appealed from the Court of Appeals. They have a matter of right appeal in cases, workers' compensation cases, that are decided by the Court of Appeals. So those are the things that we can typically hear. And a lot of people, and I'm sure you realize it, being from Franklin County, how important these appellate decisions can be to you. Because the appellate courts will often decide things that have more impact upon you and upon the people of Kentucky than what the General Assembly will by their enactments. I mean, the examples are taxes, whether they're constitutional or not, your constitutional rights, your property rights. Pensions is something that's been recently decided by those courts and has affected everyone in Kentucky one way or another who has some type of pension plan. So it's very important that you have judges on the Supreme Court who have, I believe, experience, because what we do is typically just review decisions of trial courts. I've been a trial judge for 23 years, and I think that puts me in a unique position to review those decisions. I bring with me that perspective that I've gained as being a trial judge for 23 years. I believe that I have duties beyond just deciding cases. That I have a duty to try to improve the court system. I think I had some success at lower court, in the trial court, in improving our system in Fayette County, instituting some programs that I feel has been very, very well received and has helped the people who come before the courts. Parent education clinics, child support enforcement, and pro se type packets and things to help people come before our court. And I like this opportunity to serve as your justice on the Supreme Court of Kentucky. It gives me a chance to make a difference at the highest level of our court system, and to try and make a difference. And that's the reason I wish to continue as your Supreme Court justice. Thank you.
We have some guests this evening that I brought a few out myself, and I hope you did too. I'm going to introduce a couple of my guests, and then I would like for each of you to introduce the guests that you have brought. This evening I brought Chief Judge Paul Gudgel from the Kentucky Court of Appeals. Judge Gudgel is running for re-election. I also brought Judge David Knox, and Judge David Knox is here as well with his wife Barbara Knox. Judge Knox is running for the Court of Appeals seat that he was appointed to. Also this evening we have Judge Julia Tackett, who is a Fayette County judge. Judge Tackett.
And I'm ready too.
And she is running for the Court of Appeals. She and Judge Knox are running in the same division. In case you don't know or are not familiar with the way the courts are set up, it is a four-tier system with the Supreme Court and 7 justices, one representing each judicial district throughout the state. The Court of Appeals also is 7 judicial districts, but has 2 Court of Appeals judges in each district, Division 1 and Division 2. That's why it is somewhat confusing sometimes when you have 2 candidates and they are not necessarily running against each other, but for one division or the other. And then you have the trial court and then the district court. So there's a little lesson. And once again, I'd like to thank the president and everyone for coming. Channel 10 is wonderful to be out here in the hot sun filming our event. And thank you so much to Arnold Clark and Representative Gippy Graham for their thumb picking and grinning and singing. And they're going to do a little more of that before they have to leave. Teresa, come on.
A couple guests that I have, Heidi Eagles and Sarah Boswell Bennett. They're right here with me. And I don't know if there's anyone else. We invited several
Sarah Boswell Dent and Heidi Engel are Teresa's guests tonight. Christy Stutzenberger has several little people with her. She has little Emily and Cy. And you want to introduce your sisters?
These are the coffee twins, Alicia and Corey, and they're my lifesavers.
They're the babysitters. Just like little sisters. Paula Weglars, introduce your mom.
My mom, Judy.
We're really happy to have you guys tonight. Huh? Well, I didn't plan on all of them speaking tonight. Mike Scribner, we're happy you showed up tonight. Because we're having a meal, Scribner and Arnold have come for the meal. Thank you all once again. President?
I got that Coke salute.
Well, again, like everybody else, I want to thank everybody for coming out. I've had a great evening so far for a picnic and a great group of folks to be with. Had a wonderful speaker, so Judge, we want to thank you for allowing Judy to bring you here and to address our group this evening. One thing that Judy mentioned was some of the good work that the Democratic Women's Club does for this community, and that's something that we really need to get more out there in the awareness of the public. There are a lot of things that this organization does for the community to make it stronger and a better place to live. And with such a strong membership that we have that has continued to carry forward, we've got a lot of more experienced members who are helping those of us who are young and not quite as experienced kind of learn about the heritage and the history that this group brings to the community and what it can do. And that's going to help us carry forward into the next century. So we want to certainly thank those more experienced members, but we also need those newer members, those fresh faces, to keep this group going and growing. And so what I'd like to do, Teresa, who is our membership vice president, if you would come up and just give a very brief report about the status of our membership, where we stand now. I think right about 200, something like that, just very brief, if you would, because I'm going to call on all the vice presidents, because Glenna has some very important news for us, too.
I'm going to kill you. I don't have a membership report. Just about everyone's paid their dues. We do have a few outstanding. We are knocking on the door of 200 members. We also have some associate members who are the men, and we encourage you to join the Democratic Women's Club. It's really a good thing if you're a man to be in the Women's Club, because you do get to eat good, because some of them can cook, I can't. But membership is up, and we want to encourage people to continue to bring new members in. Toward the end of the year, we would like to have an opportunity to give out a gift for the person who recruited the most members, and I think I'm probably head right now, so get those new members in. Thanks.
Oh, some new members right there.
Good. 2 new ones. Yeah.
All right, we want to thank Teresa for, again, not only letting us use her lovely home, but she's been a great membership vice president because of her work through the campaign. She knows so many people, so we're just very fortunate to have her as a very willing participant in our club. I'd like to call on our second vice president, and that's Miss Glenna, the lovely Glenna Hatcher, and have her come up and give a Ways and Means report, because she has a wonderful table set up over there where Mrs. Knox is at, I think, and has some wonderful items there that I think everybody's kind of been walking around and wondering about. So we'll have Glenna come up and give us a couple of words about those.
Very graceful.
I just ran up there.
Yeah, we do not. We have liability insurance, but if you fall, you're on your own.
Better not fall. Don't say that, because I probably will. Okay, like Teresa, I'm not totally prepared right now, but as you can see, we do have our table set up of items for the Democratic Party, of which I brought a few up with me, so just in case you all haven't gotten to walk around to see a few of the fun little things we have. We have little fanny packs, we have makeup bags, we have tote bags, so when you're out this fall campaigning or any other time, you can carry your bags and be a proud Democrat. We also have little donkey pins that you could wear to work, and nobody will say anything to you because it's just a pin. Or when you're out traveling, we do have luggage tags. So everybody will know that you're a Democrat when you travel. So we do have these over on the table. I have the price list with me, so if any of you are interested, we will be selling these throughout the next few months, and we would like to see everybody carrying or at least have a piece of this attached to them at some point. So if you will, if you're interested, come see me, give me a call, or just look over at our table, or just contact one of us, and we'll be happy to get whatever you'd like to you. And plus, we'll have more items probably in the fall when we really have to get into our campaign season. So just see me, and we'll try to do this. And plus, all the profits go to help our club, and that's the most important thing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you. Glenna, thanks for that, and I want to thank you and Mary Wells for getting those items together for us to show how proud we all are to be Democrats. Now, Renee Sauer, if I could have you come forward just very briefly. I think Renee's got a very quick report for us. We'll have that. Renee's our treasurer. I think she's got a couple of things to pass out.
Do you need help here? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you better.
I was say, please don't fall. Our insurance is paid.
It looks easy, but it's probably not as easy as it looks. Okay, I have some copies of the financial report that's going around right now, and one of our guests is passing them out. Thank you. The balance as of, I see a typo. When you get the report, that's supposed to be balance of $615.99, not $515.99. $2,155.25. And we will be paying our dues at the end of this month, and that's $2 per member, so that will decrease that a bit. We did award a scholarship, so that will be $500 that will be going out of there also. So I think we'll be all right in meeting our obligations this year. Are there any questions?
Renee, I think you should explain what the men's membership.
The associate dues are put toward the scholarship. Our scholarship is $500. So as of the 15th of June, we had $230 in associate members' dues. So we will have to make up the difference on that unless we get some more associate members before the end of the year. Any other questions? Thank you.
We're going to turn it over now to Vice President Judy Campbell, who would like to talk a little bit about our upcoming programs.
Very quickly, September, we would like to have all the judges come and present a program as candidates, and that's usually the third Thursday in September at State Democrat headquarters, and that would be the September program. And you know, at the end of September, 1st of October, that weekend, that we are hosting the state convention, and we hope each of you will participate. Barbara Hecker's here. If Barbara would like to address that, that's great. Come on up. Otherwise, just volunteer, Barbara. Just put your little hands to work and stay out of trouble. And that's what your mother always told you. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. So, Barbara, you have all these people that will volunteer to help you.
Hey, don't call me. I will call you.
She'll be calling you, and you won't like what she has to say. So call Barbara Hecker and volunteer. That and on that Friday night, which is the first weekend in October, all of the candidates are certainly invited to come to the dinner. And Barbara would be the one that would get a ticket for you. And also, there will be several receptions going on and sponsored. We are very pleased to have Jonathan Miller's not here tonight, but to have this young man as our candidate and our electee for the fall ticket. Jonathan and his wife and children bring to the state all the hopeful things that we like to see in young families. I was terribly disappointed when the Herald Leader did not endorse Jonathan Miller. They speak out of, oh gosh, this is for TV. They speak out of both sides of their mouth. In one side of their mouth, they're saying, send your young, intelligent, educated families back to our community. Don't leave our community. Send them here and let us work with them. So what do they do when a young man who is talented, educated, brings his family back to his community, asked to serve, not to the state treasurer doesn't make a fortune, for heaven's sakes. He does not do this type of job to make a fortune. And Judy Hatchett could tell you the same thing. They are a service-minded individual. When the Herald Leader turns a young, bright man like this down, I just think it's a real sad thing, and that's my letter to the Herald Leader. That's all I have to say.
Did everybody get Judy's message? I think that was pretty loud and clear. And kind of keeping with that theme, the Democratic Women's Club, we try to encourage young individuals who are getting ready to go on to college to participate in democratic activities, and every year we give away a scholarship. And this year we awarded our scholarship to a young lady from Frankfort High School. And Jennifer, unfortunately, was going to try to come tonight's program with her parents, but was unable to. So I certainly want to thank Lyda Phillips, who was the chairman of our scholarship committee. She did a wonderful, wonderful job. And I think Myrtle Webb helped her quite a bit with that. Got her a plaque. And I believe, Myrtle, do you have a picture or something of the plaque that we can kind of show the folks? I think they would be very interested in seeing what we did. And I think Jennifer is going to go on to Western Kentucky University and major in journalism, so certainly we'd like to get her to come back to Frankfort and continue to participate. She, I think, worked on Governor Patton's campaign and at headquarters, so it was wonderful to have her involved.
We have some beautiful pictures of Jennifer, and this is about as good as we could do, but we will have Jennifer at a different time come to meet all of you. Thank you.
Here you go. Here, Myrtle.
And there's a whole bunch of pictures back here for you to look at.
And I think if I could call during the president's report, if Kathy Campbell would come up, I think we have a potential project for our club to participate in, and I think Jill Robinson would also like to address the membership, so if you all could make your way on up. Kathy, I think, is going to talk to us about Habitat for Humanity house that women are going to build in this community.
I'm going to have to make it grow. Okay, the Habitat for Humanity of Franklin County this year is going to build another house. It's going to be on Douglas Avenue on the east side of Kentucky State University, and it's going to be built entirely by women. Well, what a better way for us to get involved with our community than go help women build a house. Mrs. Patton is going to be working on the house, and she has invited other first ladies from across the country to come in and help us build our house, and then she is going to be traveling to other state capitals to help them build their houses. The house is going to be built the week of July the 31st through August the 6th. Mrs. Patton is going to be there on Monday, August the 2nd. And she already knows that we're kind of tentatively talking about doing this, and she would love for us to come and join her as the Democratic Women's Club. There's a kicker. It's a lot of work. They need 30 to 40 volunteers per day. You'd be doing everything from serving food and drinks, landscaping, painting, carpentry, electrical work, to laying carpet or sheet vinyl. I don't know anything about any of that stuff other than serving food and drinks, but I'll learn. The homeowner is a single mother from here in Frankfort who presently lives in a mobile home north of Frankfort. She works full-time at a local bank and has 2 little boys in 2nd and 3rd grades. Their current home is in need of serious repair, so they are very excited about helping build and receiving their new home. This is the 7th house Habitat has built in Frankfort, and I think it'll be a great way for us to get the club involved with the community and support Mrs. Patton. If you all want to sign up to help on Monday, August the 2nd, I have forms back on the table where you signed in. And then another piece of news, since I'm on the state exec board for the club, I wanted to inform you all that the District 5 board meeting will be held July the 17th at the Ramada Inn in Paintsville. And if you are anyone's interested in going, see me on that one. Thanks. That's the only way I know how to do it without killing myself.
I'm here on behalf of the council. Let's try this. I'm here on behalf of the Council on Family Abuse, and we have an elder abuse committee. And thanks to the effort of people like Bob Arnold, Mary Wells, and a bunch of good, and Sherry Sebastian, some folks who worked on the picnic this weekend, picnic at the park, we've been able to work with another organization that's just getting started. It's called a Triad. And it's a partnership between the elders, the Sheriff's Office, and the Police Department. And we were able to give them a little seed money to do a survey of senior citizens to see what their needs and concerns are. And they had no money to get started. And we've given them a little seed money to do their first little fundraiser. And they are selling a thing called an emergency beacon. And I put one of these things up in my house the other day, and they're really neat. They go on the outside of your house if you have an outside light. It's just a regular light bulb. You screw it in there, you turn the light on, turn it off, and turn it back on, and it blinks. So if you have to call 911 and you're concerned about them not being able to find your house, you just do that, and it will blink away, and they can find you in a heartbeat. This is great for seniors. It's great for people who are in domestic violence situations. It's just a nice safety feature that could be very helpful. We're going to try to promote these out in the county. And anybody who's interested in purchasing one, we got the last of the batch at a very reasonable price, and so we're selling them for $6.50. So if you know anybody who'd like to have one, or you'd like to have one, please just get in touch with me, and we'll try to get you connected up with the light bulbs. Or you want to sell some, or help us sell some. All right, so just let us know. Thank you.
Are there any other additional new business items? Seeing none, no additional old business items. I'd just like to leave you as the last part of our program this evening that the club does not meet in July, nor does it meet in August. What I'll try to do, rather than since the club will not be meeting, I will try to get one newsletter out during those 2 months to make you aware of the upcoming activities in September, okay? Because at that point, I think Judy has already gotten a program for us in September, so our next meeting will be in September. And that will be in the newsletter, certainly making you aware of it, and it will be at the regular time, 6:30 for fellowship, 7 o'clock for our program out at Democratic headquarters. Judy, I think you had a piece of business?
Election of delegates to the state convention.
Yes, we need to do that. New members, and Judy, could you come up to assist with that? That is the last piece of business that we need to do for the convention. Election of our delegates for that. And that's based on our club membership. All right, based on our club membership.